how this morning routine changed my life. Coming up, Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. Good morning, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in today. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, where we break down how to own your day, take smart risks, and damn it, hold yourself accountable to your biggest goals. Get up. If you're laying there in bed, if you're sitting back in your truck wondering what you're going to do next, it's just time to get going. Hey, I'm your host. I'm Keith Bills. Before we get started, here's a quick heads up. I was about to drop an F-bomb in that opener there, but I'm like, nah, I haven't told everybody it's an R-rated show yet. Yep. And I just decided, how fast can I say these words at once? Really? Yeah, I feel like I'm Eminem rap god. If the kids are around, it's time to grab your headphones. Yeah, put them in the head. Yeah, walk them out the room. True story. Or put some plugs in the ears. Yeah, exactly. Today, how this morning routine changed my life. We've got a guest showing up here today, and excited to talk about that, about how a routine changed her life. We're going to dive into the habits that drive your mornings. You know, we're all about here, Mornings in the Lab. And Johnny always talks about this. What we do here in the lab and what we hear on do in the show is the stuff that many of you don't want to do, or many of you don't know how to do, or many of you just don't know the journey to get there. We talk about the habits that drive your mornings, how to cut out distractions, how small changes lead to big results. Joining me in the lab here today are C. Marty, Fit, John Anderson, and of course, producer Coach Flynn. And of course, thank God, Jimmy, our friend Jimmy over there in the Philippines. Hey, listen, we're a global show. We have no boundaries, no barriers. We got people all over the planet tuning in, hanging out, and working with us here in the lab. And Jimmy, of course, there is on the deck at the controls. And those of you that know, Philippines have been under some weather challenges, and we're just thankful and grateful that Jimmy was able to be here today. And you know what, as Johnny said before the show, Jimmy's a business athlete. He just figures out how to get shit done to be here. Many of you might just say, I can't get it done. I got no power, got no internet. I don't have a candle. No, Jimmy just shows up. Jimmy finds a way to show up. Are you laying there? Are you going to figure out a way to show up? 90% of you aren't. Be the 10%, be the 1% that will. And that's not all coming up today. We got a special guest, like I said earlier, Janine Sua. Janine's a pro at community-led growth and investing. So if you're a business dude, entrepreneur, you're like, hey, I need to make some cash today. I want to learn about growth and investing. Today's show for you as well. She's going to share how bold routines and smart habits fueled business success for her. And here's what's also coming up with the morning loop. Janine's here for Center Stage Deep Dive. Then Jory Jansen, of course, is here to wrap up hour one with the protein take. We're going to talk about nutritional periodization. You're like, what? Yeah, when to eat, how to eat. Are you training for something? Are you not training for something? And so forth. So how to match what you're eating with what you're doing. Hour two, we're going to head into the morning loop reloaded. And of course, in the gym with John and Marty. AMA Friday, I got a bunch of questions for the boys. Community Corner, celebrating somebody in the creator spotlight. Then Christina and I are going to talk about business and branding and talk about morning routines and what light went on for me to go in a certain path. But before we dive in, I want you to like the channel if you like it. Subscribe to it if you want to subscribe to it, and drop a comment and tell your friends all about this morning show. And listen, what's one morning habit that helps you unlock your potential? Coming around the corner next month, guys, November, no month, say no to something so you can say yes to so much more. All right, let's just check out what the crew is digging up here today. We got Marty in the, he's wearing whites today. White, not less brunches, more crunches, black text. Christina's, of course, all black. Johnny's, he's leaning back and Johnny, can you spread the cleavage apart?
The cleavage?
Yeah, there you go.
Come on, baby.
Strong as fuck.
Come on, baby.
Johnny Anderson matching my black hat today with the black glasses. Of course, I'm in black on black with brown glasses, black hat, and so forth. What's going on, guys? How are you guys today? We're coming up to the end of the loop. This 5-day loop is coming to the end. What's shaking?
I
good,
like
man.
how you covered that up,
good.
baby. That was good.
Yeah, we were about to get him,
good.
Johnny. I was ready. I was ready to get him, Johnny.
I was caught, baby. I was ready. I was ready to throw the hatchet.
We ain't letting Keith slide with anything this week.
Not this.
Yeah,
it's
it's been a great run, man. And it's shit. We get it basically a couple days to recharge and do it again. You know,
that's right.
In terms of the morning show here.
That's it. Tina, you were off yesterday. How was your day? Not off from us, but you were away from the show. How was your day yesterday, Producer Flynn?
It was good. I wasn't here because I was taking care of my shit, and I have my psychiatrist appointment. I got to meet her in person, and I said, all right, you know what? That's number one right now for me. And
Self-care is
y'all
number one, baby.
crushed it. Y'all crushed it. You did well. The control freak in me is like, I'm not there. And I will say this, y'all didn't have an easy run yesterday, and you still pulled it out. You still crushed it, and I'm really proud of y'all.
It was easy for me and John Anderson.
I gotta jump in real quick and say there's no questions, zero questions that when you're here things run more smoothly. So you're like you're the mom of the show now, whether you like it or not.
She's definitely the mom.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. I will take that title with honor.
And you're right, Marty. You and John Anderson were fine yesterday. It was old Uncle Keith over here who's having some internet challenges, but I had zero stress. I said to Christina yesterday in our post show, the greatest compliment was when both Anderson and Marty were like, "Yeah, today's show is real life," and it was fine. We were just fine. I'm like, yeah, because that's what real life is all about. Right? Not always perfect. So
we're like, he froze up. Jesus, we're like, when's that son of a bitch gonna pay his internet bill, man? We're tired of floating the load around here.
Get to move some money real quick.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Oh man, that's it. Good morning, Shinku. Oh, Shinku's out this morning. Good to see you here, Shinku. You're up and at it early this morning, which is spectacular. All right, listen, let's talk about how a morning routine changed my life. I want to dig further into this with our conversation with Christina later today, but I used to think.
Love this topic.
Nation. I used to think, Johnny, Marty, Christina. I used to think that morning routines were overrated. Oh yeah, building ice, burning both candles at both ends. Just Johnny, I'm going to admit this to you right now in the air, just crushing the 2 liters of Diet Coke. Marty, I'm talking 2 liters, 4 liters, 6 liters a day, crushing them throughout my day, staying up to 2, 3. Yeah, exactly. And shitty food, walking on over to the pizza joint, the McDonald's joint, getting fat. At one point, I was 230 fucking pounds. Woo, baby.
Marty, that's a lot of weight at your height, man.
Let's put that in perspective. What do you weigh right now, brother?
175, 180.
Oh my Lord! So we're talking 50 pounds.
Marty's seen me. I'm not the biggest guy in the world, Marty.
That's a lot of weight, man. I'm happy for you.
Yeah,
50 pounds. That's like losing a third of you, brother.
Johnny, we know. Hold on, I got to take my glasses off this. Johnny, I am one of Canada's greatest bodybuilders.
I know, and you're Mark Wahlberg's twin brother. Let's just keep, and then, but the best title of all. The best title of all that works perfectly is you are the nuttiest little son of a bitch I know, and I love you.
Yes.
Nutty little son of a bitch.
Yes, that's the one that I really wanted. That's what I wanted. Yeah.
And I love every ounce of that nutty little son of a bitch.
Oh, I love you too, Anderson. It's true, Shinku. I was a big motherfucker. I'll find some pictures for you guys. But I would tell you, I was hustling. I was the entrepreneur hustling both ends. And I'll admit this too to you guys. I got a business trip coming up in a month. I got to lose some weight. Yeah, I was that guy. Rushing towards that I got to lose some weight. I got to lose some weight, not body fat. I got to lose some weight so I can put my pants on or put my suit jacket on. I was hustling, juggling multiple businesses, constantly in go mode. But the truth is that grind was fucking wearing me down. Oh, both ends. Yep. I realized it wasn't that external chaos holding me back. It was that internal noise. It was that self-doubt, the stress, Johnny, Marty, the cortisol, right? The cortisol, right?
Oh, yeah.
Crushing you. Absolutely. Fear of slowing down, staying busy just to avoid confronting what really mattered. Yep. And then I made a shift, and it started with my mornings. I realized that I couldn't burn the candle at both ends. And I stopped cramming more into my day and focused on making every move count instead of trying to make every hour count. Right. And that game kind of stopped measuring effort and started measuring impact and started recognizing that it's really about the results, not about the journey to get to the result. It's the results are what matter. And I know we talk about the process, enjoy the process. It's at the end of the day, you still got to recognize it's the results. Johnny didn't train every single day to get on stage to lose. I'm sorry. You had to find a way to enjoy that. So today I start my mornings with intention, absolute intention every single day, doing the shit that most of you, say it, aren't doing.
Yep.
Or most of you want to do, but don't know how to do it, which is why I started the show with Marty and John and Tina, because this is what we do as a business athlete. Excuse me. Prioritizing physical, mental, emotional well-being, the non-negotiables. Like just the absolute non-negotiables, right? Focusing on the real progress, not just the productivity. And it's not about doing more. No, it's about doing what matters. And Johnny, Marty, Christina, Johnny, you, it's doing the shit that somebody else is scared to do. or somebody else just doesn't want to do to hit out of that edge, right?
They can, but they won't.
Yes, it's so you got to ask yourself, what's that one habit or belief holding you back right now? And I invite you to think about this. Most of us can't be an NBA superstar or an NHL hockey player or a professional athlete, but any single motherfucker out there, it can be a business athlete. But you got to do what that guy over there doesn't want to do. And it starts by getting up in the fucking morning. Johnny, Marty, Tina, I'm jacked.
This morning, I love this topic because here's the thing. Morning routines have gotten to this, okay, I need a morning routine. It's almost like I need a workout. And what's coming down to is people don't understand that a morning routine is ultra customized.
Yes.
And what does that individual need? Like for me, my morning routine is to get all the negative shit out of my head so I can be in the best mental space for me to be the best I can for the day. Other people, maybe they wake up in a great state of mind and they don't have to worry about that. They just need to get their exercise in before everybody wakes up. And so I guess what I'm getting at is the morning routine, it needs to be, you got to identify what it is you're trying to achieve in that morning routine and then build it for you as an individual. Don't just do all this shit on the internet and expect that your life's going to change because you might be doing stuff that you really don't need.
Yeah. Marty.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of people, like in Keith's situation, you have the skill set to get your shit together. You had structure in ICUC. I'm sure you had some type of structure in your household as well. But you just got to implement that in areas that matter so you can be the best you, so you can even be more effective in ICUC. And I guarantee that when you got with AJ and you got it together and you implemented your morning routine, I bet ICUC got better as well.
Yes.
Right or wrong?
You're absolutely right, Marty. And you know what, Marty? I lived the life of a you up until that, right? I'd eat shitty throat. I'd eat good, or I'd chase weekends. I'd chase business trips. It was a constant life of you. And I remember going to the John Varvatos store one year, buying larges, going back the next year, buying mediums. Really?
And that is control.
It is.
When you feel control, you're constantly chasing. You're trying to chase stability, and you're not going to get it that way. You chase stability. You don't chase it.
Chasing all the wrong things. Right? I was scared. And here's the other thing, Nation. And I know you guys will do it like me. You're scared of missing out. Embrace the boredom. You're not missing anything. What you're missing is fucking trouble. And I got too much of it. All right. It's time for today's accountability check-in. Woo, baby. Your morning routine, it's either a power move or it's a slow death. Yes. There's actually no in between. In between's mediocrity. When we're mediocre, we lose. When you're mediocre, you're like every other motherfucker out there. Don't be mediocre. If you want to be mediocre, go change the channel. Go listen to somebody else. I'm telling you. Some people wake up, they hit the snooze, they roll over, and they scroll aimlessly. Yeah. And you know what? That might be their routine, and that might be okay. I don't like this too much screen time bullshit. If the screen's good for you, then fucking turn the screen on. Yeah, embrace it. If the screen helps you achieve your big, audacious goals, hit the fucking screen. Don't listen to what everybody else says. You heard Anderson. Do what works for you. But listen, others wake up dialed with purpose and intention. Yeah, that's also a routine. Either way, both are going to shape your future. Again, what works for you in your future? If you just drift through the morning accidentally, you're just going to stack bricks of mediocrity. Is that what you want? You want to be mediocre like every other motherfucker out there? No, you don't. No. By Friday of the loop, you're going to wonder why nothing gets done. Oh, look at my list. I got nothing done. Take that more list, take that less list, and embrace it. Start in the beginning of the loop on Monday. The second you let the day run you is the day you lose. Now listen, business athletes, we don't hit snooze on success. Your routine builds your year. Every minute, every hour, every day. Embrace the boredom. Don't worry about the FOMO. But listen, if you wake up without a plan, what's Marty say? If you're going to wing it, what is it, Marty? If you're going to fucking wing it, you're going to be a chicken wing? I can't remember. We'll have to bring Marty back for that. But if you wake up without a plan, you're planning to fail. Don't wing it. Go listen to Marty's show in the evening. She'll drop some more nuggets for you. There's your accountability check-in. All right, if you're enjoying that show, listen, listen, if you're enjoying the show and you're enjoying the attitude this morning, I invite you to hit that subscribe button, share this episode with somebody you like, somebody who needs a kick in the ass, somebody who wants to get into bed, somebody who needs to get going, and don't forget to drop us in the comments below. Listen, it's time for Center Stage. Boom, boom. Today we're going to talk about, Marty, what was it? Marty, help me with the wing it thing there. I missed the wing it thing again.
If you wing it, you're going to eat chicken wings.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
You were so close, brother.
I knew
you were
it was
so close. You just had to finish it. You were right there.
Yeah, you're right there.
Words away.
We still got to work on Keith.
Are we talking about being so close and not finishing it, Johnny? That's another topic for another day.
My
it is, but it wasn't a lack of effort. You just didn't know what to say. It's not finishing with a lack of effort. That's the problem.
It's time for Center Stage. Today we're talking about how small routines, just little ones, just little motherfucking routines. Small routines and bold choices. Again, mediocrity is a loser. You know how to make small routines, bold choices to create big success. And today's guest, today's guest is Janine Sua, an investor, a community-driven growth expert with nearly a decade of experience helping brands, brands unlock their potential. Now, she just doesn't invest a couple bucks. She invests 25K checks in pre-seed startups focused on community productivity and connectivity. And she's also the host of her own podcast show called About Community, a LinkedIn show. Oh, I like that it's a show. It's not a podcast. It's a show. She's in the show community with us, where B2B leaders share how community-led strategies drive growth, acquisition costs, and brand loyalty. Listen, Janine's here to break down how intentional routines and taking smart risks can change your mornings and your path to success. Janine, welcome to the show. We're pumped to have you here. Did you bring some energy today?
Just a little bit.
Janine. Good morning, Janine. How are you?
I'm great, guys. And honestly,
we got her muted on the vertical.
I'm normally the one that's like hyping everybody up. And so to get my own gas up early in the morning is just amazing. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Janine, where are you joining us from today?
From Orlando, Florida.
How's the weather in Orlando today?
Honestly, it's perfect. Thank God. It's perfect today.
Awesome. Listen, let's keep it going here. So let's be real. Success isn't about taking one massive leap. It's about making those intentional improvements and optimizing those habits that you already had. And we were talking about this morning during the morning loop. Janine, I know you're all about building community, very successful community-driven growth strategies that help businesses scale sustainably. Talk to us about how entrepreneurs listening right now, tuning into the show, can use intentional morning routines. Listen, your morning doesn't start by accident. You got your day going today to be on the show. Talk about how, entrepreneurs can use intentional morning routines and smart risks to level up performance and then build that long-term success. Janine Sua.
Absolutely. So honestly, I've been up for 3 hours, right? And so that's like how I'm thinking about the world and the business. Like I'm an ex-athlete, and so I train my mind the same way that I train my body on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And so these small routines like literally set me up for success. And even when I don't have my routine, like if I don't read in the morning, if I don't have my coffee that I drink twice a day, then just things fall to the floor. And so for me, it's just been very intentional about being aligned, and not in the cliche way of, yes, we're aligned. And that's great too, because I'm very woo-woo, but it's really about setting yourself up, thinking about these steps that you can take every day so that you can ultimately be as prepared as you can possibly be when you're executing throughout the day. Like, quick side note, Kobe is just my absolute hero when it comes to the level of discipline, the level of accountability, and just the way that he thinks about life. Like, if we're not doing it at full speed and being excellent, get out of my way. Thanks.
Yeah, I love what you're saying. That's so good stuff. Like, you talk about your reading. So I'm going to share a little something myself. I was having trouble getting my reading in. So I had to just make a little twist in my schedule. It's going to sound weird, but it works like a charm. So I put my book next to in the bathroom where I take a dump in the morning. And when I'm taking a dump, I read, and I never miss my reading. And I'll get through literally like a book a month, when before it was taking me months and months to get through a book, because I would, I'd only end up having 2 minutes left because something took a little longer. You just look for these little cracks to put these things into your routine.
Unintended.
And everything just kind of,
come on, man.
Literally, look for the cracks, look for the deep cheeks to put it. But that's what it comes down to. That morning routine and finding a way to make it work. And there's the little things that you want to get done. Don't just don't feel defeated if it's not working. Just keep twisting and tweaking it. I've been doing my morning routine for fucking decades. Just recently, I discovered reading on the toilet.
It's awesome. Most people use their phone on the toilet. I
was too,
won't
but
talk
it was
about my
jacking my
habits.
brain up. It was getting me all stimulated. I couldn't even take a good dump. That was the worst part about it, because all that stimulation, my shit wasn't relaxed enough to come out properly. I read, and it's just like a damn religious experience.
Awesome.
We love that for you. We love, genuinely, healthy bowels are the way to life.
It's true. Hey, Janine, you did not know you're joining conversations that aren't had anywhere else on the internet or on any other show. We have them here on Mornings in the Lab. We talk deep cheeks. We
cracks.
Yeah.
Cracks. Trade in the phone for a book on the toilet, and you're gonna be happy. That's the bottom line.
So, Janine, I got a serious question for you.
For sure.
How did you know? And what I mean by that is, how did you know that the morning routine was the key to your daily and inevitably your future success? How old were you? Was there a turning point in your life what happened where you're like, oh, I got to get my shit together, and it actually starts in the morning? I know it sounds so cliche, but honestly, how?
Good question.
Oh my God, yeah. So it's a phenomenal question. I've been a morning person for forever, but it wasn't until I was going through a divorce and had to close my business through COVID in 2020/2021, where I fully understood, like, oh, like, this is a real thing. And so there were days when my brain was just all over the place, and I was scattered, and I wasn't grounded, and I was just like going crazy. And then I started to see like a spiritual healer in conjunction with my therapy. And she was like, you are the type of, because I also have ADHD, Christina knows this. And so if I don't get grounded, and she said, if you don't get grounded, you will literally just be mentally all over the place. So it was that turning point when my business was closing after I had signed divorce papers. And I was like, okay. And so I started reading every morning just to get my brain going. It was the first thing that I did. And sometimes it doesn't always work out that way, but at least to stimulate the brain. And then I was like, okay, I can either work out super early in the morning or use my midday workout when everybody's eating lunch or everybody's like going back to lunch as my kind of second win for the day. And so it was these small steps, as we said in the beginning, to where it just completely made a 180 in my life. And that's when I really turned on like the Mamba mentality when it comes to just not messing up my morning routine.
I think to me, the follow up of that, Janine, is, and again, we talk about it daily on this show, is we know the morning starts in the evening. So I think there's two steps for you here, which is, okay, I got to get my shit together in the morning. And I listen, I was part of it because I talked about it during my monologue. So you go, okay, I'm getting up in the mornings, but then you realize that, how I ultimately am going to have success is by getting that started in the evening, going to bed in good time, getting myself set up. Marty talks about habit stacking. Johnny gets his clothes, all these things together. Where in your journey, Janine, did you realize that, actually, I know I got to start my day in the morning, but it actually starts 6 or 8 hours before that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, absolutely. When I started traveling for work, like 75% of the year, and when I would wake up and I'd be like, that became then part of my understanding of, wait, if I lay out my clothes at night, if I already have my bags packed, sealed, like waiting for me by the door, if I call my Uber the night before because I'm leaving at 4 a.m., like I can minimize the margins of error. And it changed the game. And so from that level of preparation and understanding that I need to go to bed at a sound hour because I'm waking up at 4:35 in the morning, I need to be able to mentally understand, like, what am I going to do the next day? Those small things are still things that I do today. And again, they're not perfect, because I don't want to ever make it seem for founders like we're all perfect and we have every routine every day. Like sometimes you have to make compromises.
Yep.
But ultimately laying the foundation and just having the base layer understanding of, if I don't do these things, everything else gets screwed up. That's the core of what really helped me take it to the next level. And I'm still taking it now to the next level as I'm diving into the second phase of Janine 2.0.
Yeah.
Marty, you are so speaking my language. That everything you just said is like literally 100%. You just described what I do pretty much every day. And for me, it actually started as a youngster, just trying to learn to keep my head above water. Because if I didn't make those decisions, if I didn't have my clothes laid out, I would wake up and I would be in this kind of state of disarray, and I just had a hard time surviving. And so everything you just described, it's like, you're speaking my language. I love to hear it, Janine. So cool.
Will you guys tell me if you didn't agree with me?
Of course. Oh, don't worry about that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we done it. We done it on here before. We definitely did it on here.
You're talking the good stuff here. You're talking the stuff that people need to hear. So
yeah, we've been known to call people out before. Marty, Johnny. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I had no problem with
that. Janine, so do you feel some type of way if you don't get your morning routine? Like you feel like your day is just that's my worst day of the week. I didn't have my morning routine. Does it have that type of effect on your day?
Oh my gosh, yes. And I have to calm myself down because say this happens a lot. And I think it's dealing some with the ADHD and then some with just general anxiety. So say I wake up at 7:30 one day because I stayed up late doing a project the night before. If I wake up at 7:30 versus like my 5:30 or my 4 or my 6, just depending on what time I went to bed, then I'm like, oh my God, I'm already behind when most people are just waking up. So again, it's just a different standard that I set for myself. And it's not to be chauvinistic or not to be thinking that I'm superior, but in my mind, that is what a superior behavior looks like. And so if I don't fulfill the expectation of myself, then I feel like I'm running behind. So it's also been a talk of like that grace for myself to just be like, dude, again, not every day has to be so intense because I'm an all or nothing person, but it's also just learning to have grace for yourself along the way.
All right. Great conversation here with Keith, John, Marty, and our guest, Janine Sua, here right now at bottom of the hour, 8:30. It's that time. Yep. Hey, Janine, we do this live show. We do segments. We treat it like a radio show.
I know. I love it.
Yeah, so we wake up and we pretend it's 1984. Just John looks in the mirror. Like, hey, fuck, my body's still the same from 1984. Yeah.
1984, I'd be sitting here with fold over tits.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe 1992 when he was running next to David Hasselhoff on the beach in Baywatch over there. He was that guy. He was running over there. And
you got to give me a little more time. Maybe go to 19. You went to 94. We're good. But 84, I still had the tits.
Yes, and I heard Stern is on his way.
Got so many jokes.
Yeah, so Stern's on his way out there. It's serious, I hear, Janine. So we're battling for a spot there in the serious orbit here on Mornings in the Lab. And at this point in the show, Marty's got some fitness tips that nations like, I need to know something from Christopher Martin right now. So we all get off stage. Marty gets up there. He talks some fitness smack, and then we're all going to come back and keep the conversation going around how to build those awesome morning routines with Janine Sua. All right, let's get out of here. Jimmy, throw Marty up, and let's come back in about 60 seconds or so. Let's do it.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Let's go, baby.
All right. We got the fitness tip for today. We're going to talk about elbow pain. All right. This is an annoying setback that's going to throw your whole game off, but you can make some small adjustments to avoid it. Keep your joints healthy. Keep pushing strong. All right. So why does this happen? Overuse. You're doing heavy reps, repetitive movements without recovery. And sometimes you got to switch the workouts up. You can't go super heavy every day. You can't do max weight every day. All right. Sometimes you got to get some volume. Your form has issues, right? Fix your form. Understand what muscle you're working and engage that muscle. Slow it down. We talked about eccentric movements the other day, right? Bend your wrist, 45-degree elbows, things like that. Overly tight grip, right? You don't want to grip the bar or grip the dumbbell too tight, okay? Especially during pulling exercises. You can put a lot of tension on your elbows, and that can lead to pain, all right? Now, like I said, dial in on your form, okay? Now, always remember, especially on shoulder movements, you never want your elbows to be straight out, all right? Switch up the grips. Right? You can do overhand, you can do underhand, you can do neutral grip. So that way you're not putting too much strain, too much tension in one area of your body. And strengthen supporting muscles, right? So compound movements that are going to build your forearms, build your shoulders, the simple things, push-ups, dips, pull-ups, along with the heavy weight, okay? So the more support you give your elbows, the less they'll have to work under that heavy weight. All right, we want to stay safe. We want to prevent injuries. Remember that on your fitness journey. That's the fitness tip for today.
Another day with Christopher Martin, every day here at 8:30 Eastern time. We're going to get into the deep dive with Janine Sua. We're talking about designing habits, turning routines into results. Janine, we've been talking for the last segment there on Center Stage, and You've been grinding your entire career, helping brands scale community-driven strategies. Janine, from everything that you've seen, all the dudes you've worked with, all the human beings you've worked with, and everybody you've experienced, what's the real reason that you think most routines fail? And if someone's listening right now, they're just tuning in, shinku, ears go up, they're thinking about making a change, based on your human experience, what's one shift that you think that human can make right now? You're going to see some results fast. They hear everything from me all the time, from Marty all the time, John all the time. What's one thing that really worked for you can invite somebody to consider? I like to say here, I like to make recommendations, make suggestions. Our audience makes decisions. What would you throw out there, Janine, for our audience right now?
Yes. In terms of the decisions, that's literally what I was going to say. Like, you have to decide if it's something that you really want and then commit to it. And it sounds really simple, but simple's not always easy. And it's okay, let me make this contract with myself. What am I going to choose to do? Am I going to choose to do this? Because discipline, yes, can only go so far, but it also goes in terms of the mental, of making that true decision and that true pact with yourself, which is what I did. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be basic and not in a terrible way, but it's just a decision that I personally made with myself because I want excellence. And so it's really a decision.
I'm not going to be basic. Fuck, I love that because that just rhymes into what I said this morning. If you embrace mediocrity, you're going to be mediocre. And you're like, no, I don't want to be basic. Everybody around me is basic. It's something producer Flynn said to me once before. You can either be the person that goes to the conference or you can be the one who hosts the conference. Right? So you can either be mediocre like everybody else or you can be the one who... It's true.
That was a bar.
I'm not going to any more conferences now. I'm done.
But it's very true. But it links back to Janine's statement. She's like, everybody else who goes to the conference is basic. No, I'm going to be the one who's actually hosting the conference.
It's true.
That's
and
true.
there was
That's
a
definitely true.
book that I read for your audience. There was a book that I read called Never Eat Alone. It was by Keith Ferrazzi. And it taught me the idea of the most super connected, most high up people had the best relationships. And so that's when, after I was closing my business through COVID, that's when I really made the decision. And I was like, I am going to be one of the most well-connected people in Miami. And I'm going to host things so that whenever I'm in a room, whenever I'm not in a room, you're going to know my name. And I'm also going to provide that insane amount of value to be able to help you get to the next step. And I'm going to follow up on my word. And it changed the game. And that's how I decided 4 years ago to fully double down on community and what it really means to be like a community leader and ecosystem builder.
Janine, you said you were an athlete.
Yes.
Following a routine as an athlete is easy when everybody's winning. Oh yeah, we're winning. We're having a great time. Building routines are easy when life is fine. And then all of a sudden you weren't an athlete, or all of a sudden you're going through a divorce. And I did too, just to throw it out there, just to offer that up for you. So all of a sudden the routine becomes perhaps challenging to embrace when we're now losing or when the mornings get tough. How do you find the discipline of a routine when the times get tough, Janine?
Yeah. The real answer is when you look in the mirror and you're like, there's something that I can change that I don't like, or I literally need this to get through the day. That's when you can really double down on the discipline aspect of it, because then it's like you're looking for it could be the superficial, or it could be the something like the deep element within yourself. But that personally is what helped me get myself off the floor of, okay, our body's cool, but like, you can do better than this. And so I would go in the gym and then it would be a mental game for me of like cussing everybody out and being screw y'all can't tell me anything. I literally tell myself like, I will eat your children to anybody in the gym when I'm lifting to try and get through a set. And it's that element of just like pushing myself beyond limits. And then it became a game for me, and one of the most gratifying feelings like in the world, genuinely.
That's how it's supposed to be. You got to have a dark side. You got to have a dark side.
Gosh.
Every successful person, whether that's business, whether that's the gym, whatever, they have a dark side, because you got to have that aggressiveness, that tenacity. So you can't just half-ass something and expect to get the result that you want. So I love that, Janine.
It's so true.
Yeah. Turning as an athlete, it's easy because we have a competitive nature. When we turn difficult things into competition, it makes it very easy to perform better. And that's something I love what you're saying. And I have little mantras that I use that I say to myself when times get tough. And that's the shit that keeps me moving forward. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, one question for Janine.
Yeah.
So I played D1 basketball, so I'm totally right there with you. And I'm 31 now, and I'm almost out of college it'll be 10 years, and I'm 8 years removed. But I can't turn off that trash talk. Do you feel the same way? And then it translated over to business or to the real world for you? Because that's just me. I talk crazy on the basketball court. I'm the same way in business, whatever we doing, lifting. Did you find that you couldn't just turn it off?
Oh my gosh, 1000%. So there are two things that I want to mention. One, I'm 5'3", so playing basketball and being a 2 or a 3 and then trying to box people out, girls who are 6 foot,
I'm with you.
I got pretty crazy with it. And so my dad had to teach me, like, you really need to learn how to control this so that you can use it as fuel and not be out of control. And then today, even up until probably last year when I was still in Miami, I used to be a part of a basketball DAO. And so it was like all these guys from tech, GPs of big funds, these high growth founders, like we would all play basketball and just shit talk like the whole time. And it was the most form of genuine community, but also like when you're on the court, don't touch me, don't mess with me, because you are now 6'5" trying to pack me, and I have to defend my integrity and my honor, even if I am little bitty 5'3".
Absolutely.
Marty, I love how you said you have to take out everybody has a dark side. Because I know, Marty, you're a big Batman fan. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to look no further than Batman. You look at the dark side and so forth. And I think about Johnny when he's competing in the gym, or when he's getting on stage, when he's getting in the ring, or Marty through your journey, or Janine through your journey as an athlete. It's, if you don't find that something within you, you're going to end up being mediocre. Am I wrong?
Nope.
You know what's crazy though? A lot of people don't even know that they're mediocre. Like they don't know they're like, yeah, bro, that's fucking average. I don't want to do that. They don't know that. And so sometimes you might be a friend group. You might have to tell them that. So I know me being in the fitness world, Janine, I have to tell my friends and get that out of them. Have you ever had to do that with any of your circle? Or did you just change your circle?
No, well, both.
Circle,
That's ours. That I had to do both. And excuse me, I always tell my friends that I'm a super black and white person and I'm very direct. And so criticism, like given with love and caution, but pushing me to be better is my form of self-love. Like that's how you show me that you care about me and that you're honest with me. Because being a founder, like I learned that I'm a very likable person, and like people often don't want to tell me the truth because they like me and they dissociate like the skill sometimes or the product with like me as a human. And so one of my investors, the day that he told me that, literally it crushed me, but it was the best advice that I had ever gotten because it truly flipped the switch of reality on to be like, okay, not everybody may tell you the truth because you are very likable. So how can you start to find the objective in these different spaces from like your friends, from your family, from people who are actually going to tell you the truth?
Yeah, that's very true. Sometimes you need to have somebody in your life that you can count on to be honest and tell you that hard shit. And in my life, like I'm always looking at, hey, somebody knows some shit that I need to know, and they know it. And if I go get it from that person, I'm big on actually hiring. I'm a coach, but I'm big on hiring coaches myself because there's always somebody that knows something better than me, and I want to get that information. And when I hire someone, the first thing I'm going to say is, look, you need to get really direct with me. I don't get my feelings hurt. We're not here having tea and cookies. We're here kicking ass. So tell me if I'm fucking up, tell me. And I will redirect whatever I need to do. But we need those people in place. And sometimes it's hard for people to find that. So I know myself, I always have leaned on having some sort of I guess you could say to a certain extent, a good part of my life. And I guess most of my life, I have had coaches that they're the ones that say, hey, what the fuck are you doing? This is the way we do it. Pull up your panties, take a deep breath. Okay, this is going to hurt, but get the job done. And sometimes that's what you need. For me, I respond well to that. And so I totally hear what you're saying. We need that person in our life. Whether we're going to hire them or we have them, You got it. You need those people in your life.
Yep.
It's so true. My business partner now is my best friend of 13 years. We pledged together. She was my front, meaning like we pledged and she was in front of me. But she is now my go-to person for all the things because she's one of the few people who, one, understands my crazy ass brain, but two, who genuinely looks out for me because I've looked out for her in so many cases. And so the relationship is very much so, dude, you're screwing up. Like, you need to get your stuff in order or take one step at a time. And she brings me back to zero and to center every time.
That's perfect.
All right. So, Nation, here's the thing. Here's the bottom line. As we've been talking about with Janine Sua for the last couple of segments here, center stage and deep dive, learning that leveling up isn't just about doing more. Nope. It's about locking in those habits that fit your life and knowing when to hit pause so you can come back sharper. Those small, consistent moves that drive progress. But the real power, knowing when to reset, refocus, and get back in the game, as we've been learning about and talking with Janine here today. And listen, with no month around the corner, hey, Janine, no month around the corner, November. It's where we invite humans to say, hey, wait a minute. In order for me to achieve something quite successful, I got to say no to a bunch of things. Right? We've got to say no to a bunch of things to hit yes on something quite audacious. So now's that time, Nation, to ditch those habits that aren't really pulling your weight and double down on what actually moves the needle so you guys can think about hitting those big, audacious goals you really want to do. And it starts in the morning. Janine, as we wrap it up today, I loved your energy, love what you brought to today's show. What's the best way for Business Athlete Nation to connect with you, follow your journey, and tap into what you're building and learn more and continue to be a part of Janine Sua's orbit? Janine.
Oh my gosh, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm literally an open book. I share with you what I do, while I do it, how I do it, and oftentimes just like DM me, and I have a whole system based up so that I try not to miss DMs, but feel free to connect with me. And the last thing I will say going into the month of November, Marty mentioned compound movements. Y'all, kettlebell swings will change your life. So if there's one thing that you want to do in November, don't always focus on running on the treadmill. Put some kettlebell swings in your life and you will see the results just like full body.
Absolutely. Hamstrings, lower back.
I love me some kettlebell swings.
You know,
I'm doing them today.
I love that we got it. And I said the greatest. We got a woman on the show telling people to lift. She's like, oh, don't get on the treadmill. Go pick up some weight. Exactly. Go get strong, ladies. Go get strong. We know it's going to make you live longer, but getting stronger is part of that process. Hey, Janine, thanks for coming around here today. We appreciate you hanging out with us this morning.
Thanks, Janine.
It was such a pleasure.
Thank you, Janine.
The energy is great. I love y'all. Thank you.
Awesome. Janine Sua joining us. You guys know how to find her. Go find her on LinkedIn and connect with Janine along the way. All right, coming up in about a minute or so, we got Jory Jansen joining us for, of course, our weekly Friday protein break. We're going to talk about nutritional periodization, but before that, we got this guy coming up, John Anderson. I know he's been brewing. He's holding on to something, willing and eager to unleash it. Johnny, go get it, brother.
Let's go, baby. Come on. All right, check it out. Lifestyle tip for the day. How do the greats do it? How do they become great? Check this out. Let's talk about Michael Jordan. Had the statistic. I don't know if he still has it, but I know one time he had the statistic for the most ever game-winning shots as an NBA player. What people don't understand is to achieve that statistic, he also earned the most ever game-losing shots. Michael clearly understood he had to fail more than everyone else to succeed more than everyone else. Let's look at Thomas Edison. He said it took him 10,000 tries to create the light bulb. Just thank God for all of us. He didn't quit at 9,999. We'd all be sitting in the goddamn dark room right now. So understand, the greats see very clearly. They know they have to fail more than everyone else to succeed more than everyone else. So the formula is pretty clear. So flip the script. Failure is not a bad thing. Failure is testing. Failure is learning. Failure is what you need to do to become great at whatever you choose. So rewrite the script, fail fast, and go get what you want.
I love that one today. Hey, Marty, we got to get Marty up here. We know when Johnny's dropping Thomas Edison philosophical, waxing philosophy of Thomas Edison, we got a good fucking show going on here, man. And we know that our friend Jimmy, who's sitting there in the dark in the Philippines, Johnny, Marty, who's just thankful for Thomas Edison creating the fucking light bulb there, Johnny. So I'm telling you, man, I love what you're waxing this morning, pal.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. If you think it's pretty simple. These dudes they pursue failure. And because they pursue failure, they fail more, which means they succeed more. So everybody out there, take a deep breath, redefine failure, fail fast, and go get that shit.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right. And speaking of not failure, but I just want to quickly address our last segment here. We got some fans in the comments here. We're like, hey, we need to bring back Janine. We got Shinku saying, I hope Janine comes back. Shinku's talking about kettlebells. And of course, I'm sorry, Lauren's like, we need to get Janine back and so forth. So, Janine, clearly the fans want you back on the show here. So we're going to get Janine Sua back on the show. Somebody who's telling you guys to get up and get lifting. Somebody who's telling you that I don't want to be any mediocre. Marty? Maybe a little bit of a business athlete happening over there.
Maybe, absolutely.
Speaking of business athletes. Oh,
I was going to say, we got someone special sitting right here, patiently waiting to get introduced. Come on, baby.
That's it, Jory Jansen. I need no music. We need no more introduction other than the goat bleeding in the forest over there, the greatest of all time. Jory Jansen joining us here today. We are talking, and Shinku's rolling in there with you as well, Jory. We're going to talk today about nutrition periodization. Big words for Uncle Keith here this morning. John's like, I just fucking keep it simple, man. Eat when I work out, eat when I don't work out. All joking aside. But Jory, let's get into this idea of aligning your diet, aligning with how you eat with your training cycle, tackling something that often flies under the radar. And how addressing somebody's nutrition to match what you're doing can actually maximize results. Jory.
Yeah, periodization, you're right. It's like, why use big words? It catches attention, that's why.
Yes.
Sounds cool.
It sounds cool. Right? So periodization is really a nice word for saying have a plan for at the right time for what you're doing.
Yes.
And for the nutrition piece, it really does matter. It doesn't matter if you're a bodybuilder, a golfer, a triathlete, just trying to lift those kettlebells to gain strength or power, whatever you're working towards. How you're fueling your body at certain phases of your goal really does make a difference. So if you're in, I don't know, I was just working with about 40 young ladies last night. So my voice is a little shot, but I was chatting with them. You're in season now, so you have to choose to fuel and hydrate differently than when you're in. There are a bunch of hockey players and they need to now maintain strength because they don't have the time to build. So their protein intake is going to go up. The carbohydrate will go up around the training and the games. But in the off season, their protein is going to go up even higher and the carbohydrates will go down a little bit lower just to help make sure that they're getting the gains in power and strength, but not putting on too much so when they go into season, they're ready to go. So it really depends on where you're at of your program. So it does make a difference.
Johnny,
let me share something. Let me share something that's literally specific to me. So in my strength career, performance is everything. It's how much can you lift or how many times can you lift in a set amount of time. And this was back quite some time ago, and we've learned a lot about nutrition since then. But all of us, we learned how our bodies responded the best in terms of existing in that world. And I know me personally, I was so much better in terms of my performance when I was eating almost primarily red meat, because the values of that red meat just gave my body the ability, or I guess you say that, whether it's the healing, whatever it is, there's so many elements of what that red meat did. I'm sure Jory can talk about the science. But with the red meat, I was performing noticeably. We're talking probably 10, maybe 15% better with red meat as my primary fuel source in terms of protein, forgive me. And it was an organic grass-fed, because I needed basically grass-fed brings a whole another slew of value into the equation. And I actually had a sponsor at that time. It was a grass-fed farm, and they would give me 150 pounds of ground beef every month. And when I got that, it was like I couldn't believe the change in my performance, because now I was eating it all the time. As where before, you go shopping, sometimes they don't have it. You're hodgepodging it together. Once I had that shit being delivered to my front door every month and I was eating that, I cannot explain the difference in my performance. Now, granted, this was extreme, like international strength. We're talking in the elite. I'm not saying that this is what everybody has to do, but for me, the red meat across the board was a game changer.
I want to sprinkle in something real quick before we pass it back to Jory. When I was in college, and John mentioned the red meat thing, but during the season, we ate so much more, like significantly more. And like pregame meal was insane. We had pasta, potatoes, chicken, steak. And so when it comes to performance, you absolutely have to eat. And I want to tie this into Gen Pop Fitness. I had a conversation with one of my clients yesterday, and who's trying to avoid carbs. And I'm like, no, you're working out more now. Your metabolism's getting faster. You're getting stronger. You're just doing way more. So you have to eat more. That's not going to make you fatter. So don't be scared to eat more when it comes to performance and when you're doing more. So I just wanted to add that in. Jory, I know you can make it sound better than that, but I just wanted to relate it for some folks.
No, that was beautiful. That's great. And I think people need to understand that periodization isn't just like for the season, it's for what's happening within your day. And so on a day off, you might switch up how that macronutrient profile looks versus a game day. If you're in a recovery day, but if tomorrow's game day, then recovery day is now preparing for performance. So you really need to look at the big picture of, are you trying to gain strength? Are you trying to maintain in this phase? Or what's your performance look like for tomorrow? And so it really does matter on how you time it out. The other part of periodization is periodizing your supplements. Some people don't understand that when you're trying to make sure you're getting the most of your workouts, sometimes when you're popping all those antioxidants, your vitamin C, E, those sort of things, they will interfere with what you're trying to gain out of that training phase. So you really want to make sure that you're looking at, am I traveling a lot? Am I doing intense training? Then perhaps you would do that supplement thing. But if you are trying to gain more muscle endurance in that phase, nix the supplements, just eat the food, because there isn't the interference or blunting of the recovery that you want to get out of that training when you eat it from food. When you eat it from supplements, the science is saying, you know what, you're not going to get that recovery that you're looking for. So you're not going to adapt from that training.
Makes sense.
On that level too, Jory, like what I was talking about with me eating all this grass-fed beef, what I discovered was, for what I was doing, it was my superfood. Everybody has different formulas in terms of what's going to be best for them. And so obviously in a periodization and understanding how to work nutrition, when people start to understand these foods affect me in this way, these foods affect me in this way, talk a little bit about how powerful that could be in the equation.
Yeah, if I'm understanding your question correctly, so you do need to take a look at how foods do react with you. So it makes sense to have, let's say, the red meat, because it is the most bioavailable form of iron. What does iron do? Iron helps with oxygen flow. What does oxygen do in the blood? It gives you that clarity, that energy, right? So it makes sense. I like the grass-fed idea because it's going to give you the extra omegas. You can get your omegas from your grass-fed animal sources. It doesn't have to be just fish or just your chia seeds, right? I think it's looking at that, and combining your foods helps hit those targets. So if you're only eating one food option, you're missing out on everything else that we know and don't know about nutrition, right? I think it's really important to make sure that you are getting a variety of options and understanding what is the goal, though, from what you're training for. If you're training for, and it doesn't have to be endurance in terms of a triathlon, but just that cardiovascular phase of your training, you got to fuel that right. If you're but if you're training for strength versus trying to build muscle, you're going to have to support that in how you fuel. And so, just making sure that you understand what are you trying to get out of this particular phase of training. Or if you're playing rec volleyball, I don't know, like making sure that you are fueling to support the demands of what that training load is.
Jory Jansen dropping nuggets. Dude, today gold nuggets dropping today. I'm telling you, Jory, I know sometimes you and I chat, you're like, did I hit the marks? Is there audience value? Today, Marty, Johnny, This is value today, man. Like this is lots of great value today about people got to eat. If you're training in the gym, if you're doing something that's you're putting your body under a stress load, what you're saying, Jory, is eat. And what you're saying, Nation, is not periodization eating more of these. Go.
Here we go.
Periodize that.
Get him, John. Get him, John.
If you look at, I'm gonna let Keith go with that. He's done that too many times. The pop is gone, But what I just want to summarize in this conversation, and Jory's brought it up a few times. If you didn't catch this, the main goal is understand what is your goal with your eating. Establish what you're trying to achieve. Or is it strength? Is it endurance? And then you build your nutrition based around what you're trying to achieve. So you can't just say, oh, this guy over here is doing this.
Yes.
I'm going to try that. Maybe his goal is different than yours. So you really got to understand what is the goal in your training, and then work backwards into your diet to build that nutrition. So it's going to support what you're doing with your training.
Yeah, exactly. Nation, as Jory and John has said, nutritional alignment is a game changer. Find what works for you. Don't do what somebody else is doing just because you think they're doing it. Right? Fuel your body, put the right nutrition in your body, and move forward from there. Jory, the weekend loop is around us. Any big plans for you and the family before we say goodbye to you?
Oh, and I think this weekend's a little bit of work, but that's okay. It happens.
Yes. There you go. Awesome. Listen, always enjoy having you in here. I want to maybe dig into a topic next week around intermittent fasting. Maybe that's something we're talking about nutrition periodization today. Let's talk a little bit about food windows and intermittent fasting, because I know people that's linked to longevity. Some people have strong opinions on it, but maybe, Jory, we can talk a little bit about that next week. How do you think about that?
I think we should, because some people shouldn't.
That's a great topic.
People absolutely can.
Awesome. So we're going to do that. Jory, of course, you guys know Jory's here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday with the protein break, always dropping knowledge for you guys. And the stats show on YouTube that this segment gets a lot of great hits and great views. So I appreciate that. And hey, Jory, you have a good one. Thanks for coming in. Have a great weekend. Don't work too hard.
Thank you, Jory.
All right. Look, we know who's up there. We got the coach, Coach Flynn.
Come on.
We missed her yesterday.
Come on now.
Hey, she's got something for you guys. Flynn, you're up, Coach.
Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. Here's the thing. Lately, I've been thinking about and reminding myself about something truly terrifying. And I want to share it with you because it could help you too. If I don't change, 365 days from now, I'll be just as lost, just as scared, just as anxious as I am today. It's dark. I know. But here's the truth. You're no different. 1 year from now, you could still be feeling that same pit in your stomach, questioning how you got here, hating yourself for it. And I'm not saying this to scare you, but to remind both of us of a harsh reality. Time doesn't stop moving. When you get distracted, when you give up, when you lose motivation, whatever the fuck motivation is, time keeps going. So here's the flip side. Let's make that scary thought a really positive one. If you do change in 365 days, you could be living the life that you've been dreaming about, that vision you've been having for yourself. Is it easy? Absolutely not. Is it guaranteed? Hell no. Is it possible? Fuck yeah, it is. You get to decide where you want to be in 1 year, in 1 day, in 1 week, in 1 month, in 1 quarter. So wouldn't you rather be living that life that you want for yourself, that you've been dreaming of all these years, instead of looking at that timeline with regret? I believe in you. You just need to believe in yourself. Yes, it really is that simple. I have entered my no fucks era, and I promise you, if you take today's brand bite into effect, you will be 1 step closer to entering yours. You got this.
Maybe that's a good one. Christine Flynn dropping it this morning. Man, I love it.
That's so good. That's so good, man. I'm telling you, that actually attaches to one of my lifestyle tips. I can't remember what it was, maybe a week ago, saying, look, if you crush the morning, you're going to have a good day. It turns a good week to a good month to a good year can change your life. And that's exactly what you said. People need to hear more of that. I love the way you broke that down, Christina, because goddamn it, it was really easy to digest. So all you guys out there listening, go get this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Solid stuff, Flinner. Good stuff there.
Good stuff.
Flinner.
Love it. And hey, guys, we got this
chicken skin when I was taking a piss.
What?
Man.
I got Johnny to get chicken skin. I made it.
I didn't get chicken skin. But when you were about to say no fucks era, I did that because I knew it was coming. Yeah.
Let's get it. I love it. I can't wait to get No Fucks There on a t-shirt. It's coming.
What's really cool, I just got to say one more thing. It's like the stuff that we're all talking about as individuals, our segments, it's all just coming together. It's almost like it's just being described differently by each one of us, but it's all doing this, and it's really fucking cool.
The beauty of it, because we all have our own experiences, our own skills, our own story that we're bringing to the table. That gives us the unique viewpoint. That gives us a unique perspective. And if somebody looks at you, Johnny, and they're like, "No, I don't vibe with that," maybe they will with me. Maybe they will with Keith. Maybe they will with Marty. And if you do that, we get to talk to a larger group of people, and that's all we're trying to do.
Absolutely.
That's what moved me so much, Flynn, Johnny, with what I saw yesterday from Marty in his video. And Nation, you want to get to know Christopher Martin, I invite you to go to the greatest fitness podcast in the evenings called the Marty Fit Podcast. Marty dropped a 13-minute video about himself yesterday. He sat down, he looked in his camera, he pulled his pants down, sorry, Marty, and he said, "Here's me." And if you want to be moved to get to know this young man, I cannot invite ladies, go watch this video, man. Go watch the video, fucking rights, man. But my point is, Flinner, is that every single day you become more vulnerable in front of the camera. Johnny keeps doing so, 52-year-old man. Marty keeps being so. I keep trying. And as John said, man, this magic is producing, right? So it's a lot of fun. And Janine, Marty, I might have to attach that sound effect to Janine too. The one that
I give you permission.
You give me permission to attach this one here with Janine here this morning?
She's in the club.
So we're giving two this morning to Jory Jansen and to Janine Sua.
Yeah, she's in the club. We only got live in the club.
That's the female goat. We got to get a male goat sound, man. If I was giving that goat sound, I'd be like, man, don't give me a fucking castrated goat sound. Jesus Christ.
I swear to God, they probably sound the fucking same. I'm going to get that sound, and I'm going to show you they probably sound the fucking same.
Well, then turn the fucking volume up or something.
Give me more bass. Give me more bass.
I mean, Jesus Christ. It's like you hear this little fucking sound like, that must be a goat. We got to have a fucking, holy shit, that's a goat. That's what we need.
I know I've been saying for a while here that I'm trying to get my buttons sorted out, Anderson, and I'm going to keep working on that, but I will get a better goat sound for us. I know, Jimmy, I was looking at the wrong camera. Hey, I got something for you guys for the Morning Loop Reloaded. I got maybe an interesting one. Yeah, I got one for you guys. So did you know how many, I'm not going to say, do you know? I'm going to ask the question instead. Marty, starting with you.
What's up, man?
How many people do you think, finish the sentence, one in what people check their phone during sex?
Say that again.
Check their
It's like a riddle. It's a riddle or something. It's a riddle.
Yeah. So is it 1 in 10, 1 in 20, 1 in 100, 1 in 1? How many people, and I'm going to go around the table, Nation, and then Shinku and those that are in the comments right now. Yeah, during, exactly, Shinku. So 1 in what people check their phone during sex? Christopher Martin, to you first, brother.
1 in 25.
Oh, okay. All right.
I have a reason for that too, but let's get around the table first.
All right, Coach.
I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna say 1 in 10.
Oh, okay. All right. And what about you, Mr. Anderson?
Fuck, I don't even know, man. This is like throwing a piece of spaghetti against the wall.
Terry time.
Let me tell you, if Terry was whipping out her phone during Terry time, I'm doing something wrong. I'll tell you that. So I guess I'm gonna go with the fact that these people are doing it wrong to begin with. So then that at least gives me a side of the fence to take a guess. So I'm gonna just go somewhere. I'm gonna go. Shit, I don't know. I'm gonna try to split the middle between these two guys. We got 10 and 25, so I'm gonna take 15.
Can we just acknowledge something for a second there? What I love about what John just said.
Yes.
He said if Terry was taking out her phone during Terry time, he could have shit on Terry, but he said, I'm doing something wrong.
Oh, that'd be all my fault.
That's
100%.
awesome.
I gotta be accountability. If my shit is so fucking, if I can't keep her attention, she's got to whip out her phone when I'm doing my thing. I got to do a better job. Holy shit.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got some comments coming in from the side here, which I know I got hit in the nerve here. So we have Shinku, yes, during. Shinku throws 1 and 5. Hey, John, what's shaking? John Hip, this is the Mornings in the Lab show. I invite you to subscribe to the channel. I invite you to tune us in every single day, 8 o'clock Eastern time here in North America, at other times around the planet. So probably sometimes around maybe 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon in London. But in North America, 8 o'clock Eastern time, the morning show to help you get your ass out of bed, not hit the snooze button and hit those big audacious goals. So subscribe to the channel. Damn it. Fit Presenter coming in here, guys.
Oh, man.
Oh, Mike, Fit Presenter.
8.
Yeah, Mike is, I'm innocent. I don't have a cell phone, but I grab my tablet sometimes, but only to record when he's by himself.
Hold on.
Hey, if you
Hold
want
on.
to consensually
You're by
record
yourself.
sex,
You're
that's
recording.
fine.
You're recording yourself by your. I can see the recording yourself with a partner, but you're recording yourself by
He
yourself.
didn't
That's
say
new.
that. He
I
added by myself.
I added.
I'm with you, Johnny. I'm with you, Johnny. I thought that too.
I added the Mike McQuillan joke there.
Oh,
We got
shit.
Joseph with 1 and 8. And yeah, though, Joseph, yes, by yourself. No, Deuce, the question was not rhetoric. So let's get to the stats. All right, guys, here's what it is. Cell.com did a survey of 5,018 adult smartphone owners in Christina. I'm sorry, kid. We got
Where do they live?
Canada.
Where do they
in
live?
Canada.
Canada?
They
Okay.
only do stuff like that in
Why
Canada.
the
They
fuck
don't
you
ask
do this?
Americans.
You
that.
control it. You control it.
They're not asking no Americans no shit like that.
Sorry, they're wrong. They did 5,000 Americans, crazy fucking Americans.
Oh, damn it.
It's American. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Americans are
Fucking
going to
weird
score
ass
lower than
Americans.
I think the Americans are going to score lower than the Canadians anyway. Shit, I should have bumped my shit up.
We know that, John. We know that. That's
So,
not news to us.
Yeah.
5,018 adult smartphone users were surveyed and talked about how they used their phones and how often they checked it during sex. And the reality was 1 in 5 checked
Holy
phone
shit.
during
You're fucking kidding.
sex. Yeah, so there you go. 1 in 5 of us. So 5 of you listening to the show right now, and those of you that are going to tune into the highlights on LinkedIn, 1 out of you 5 in the comments are checking your phone. McQuillan is using his tablet to record.
It's crazy.
Yeah, 1 in 5.
But hold on. I got to come to a little bit of defense. And this is not because it's Americans. So sometimes in Terry
You wouldn't
time,
be defending
it'll
us.
just line up that I got a meal right in the middle of it. So if we take a break and I got to eat, I might check my phone when I'm eating if we're taking a break in a good session.
They ask men or women.
Johnny,
People.
there's other
Because if they I was gonna say if they ask women, we could put the blame on men like Johnny just did.
Yes, we could. And we probably could anyways.
Well, but it's got to be a session long enough that you got to take a break to actually justify taking it, and coupled with another activity that it actually there'd be some level of defense here.
Remember, what was the average amount of time that people have sex?
Yeah, we can't. Yeah,
There's no way there was enough time in there.
5.7.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're correct.
5.7 minutes.
There's no way there was enough time in there.
When they broke the survey down, it was 17% of women admitted that they have checked their phone during lovemaking, as they called it, while only 7% of men said the same. Yeah.
There's so much I want to say, but I can't say
Man,
that.
I got to
This
say,
is a family show.
If I'm the fucking dude, right, if I'm a dude in this situation and I'm fucking giving it my best and my wife reaches over and pulls her phone out and checks it, I'm thinking to myself, I got to fucking tighten up my shit real quick. That's what I'm thinking.
So they also went further into Report Nation that even more worryingly, 54% of the surveyed smartphone users would prefer to spend time with their device. No, Mike McQuillan, we're not talking to you.
That's where the rest went. They didn't even answer.
And with their partner. The singletons out there weren't any better. The study found that 75% of smartphone users will spend up to 30 minutes on their smartphone during a romantic date. So, Johnny, yeah, there you go. They're out romantically and they're hanging out on their smartphones.
That's sad. That's real sad.
I guess what it displays, it just truly displays how addicted we're becoming to these devices.
Yeah. And this fun article wraps up, and this came from Vice. So if you guys want to hold your hang on Vice, I found this article. I found the story in Vice magazine, and it ends up this way, right? It says, hey, basically, if you get that urge, Johnny, Christina, to check the phone while you're doing the dirty deed, just think of Zuckerberg. or think about Elon, because they're getting you to do what they want you to do. Yeah.
Or what they're doing is they're watching what you're doing. That little camera, shit, man. A lot of people argue those cameras are. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I was driving the old Tesla yesterday. I got warning from the old camera. And they're saying, hey, we can't see your eyes. So we have the full self-driving disabled. Oh, you guys are fucking watching me right now. I said, pull my hat down.
Say that again.
So there's a camera inside the cabin, and how it works is it's watching my eyes for attention, right? So if my eyes have our attention on the foot, if my eyes are giving attention to the road, then it will give me some of the full self-driving capabilities. But the moment that I start doing this and looking around or picking my nose or looking away, it starts to alert me and says, you're not looking at the road. But I had a hat on yesterday, Johnny, that was covering my eyes.
Yeah.
And I get an alert saying, it can't see your eyes, so we can't enable some of the features, essentially. So yeah, cameras everywhere.
Oh, because does it turn off if people close their eyes? Is that why?
So it'll remove some of the self-driving features if it can't see that you're paying attention.
Oh,
so
interesting.
How it did it before was it had the nag on the steering wheel. Now it's got full watching your, and not just Tesla, Ford does it, GM, any of those self-driving kind of things. They're using cameras to watch your attention on the road. Yeah, cameras everywhere, nation. Cameras are everywhere. And Deuce, as we move to In the Gym segment, we're gonna move to the In the Gym segment. Before we get Christine out of here for a quick second, Deuce says this, guys, there's an easy solution. Borders, no phones to bed. In other words, create some boundaries. Yesterday we talked about boundaries with AJ. And we talked about boundaries always being bad. Maybe a boundary is, hey, honey, we're going to go put the phones on the other side of the room so we don't use them during sex. I don't know.
Hold on, brother. We established that boundaries are only established bad for the people who are too chicken shit to actually enforce them.
Yeah. Yes. I want to talk more about boundaries, actually, Johnny, because that's I was thinking about. I got
some stuff to say too about boundaries.
I was having a conversation on that yesterday during post-production, and sometimes people hear boundaries, like back goes up. Oh, fuck, I don't want that. Wait a minute, hold on, Mac. There could be a positive with the boundary. I think we want to dig more into that, but we're going to get into the end of the gym segment. But before we go into the gym segment, we got to have some fun with Mike McQuillan here. So Canadians do it doggy style so that they can both watch the hockey game. Just what happens here in Canada.
Babe, did the Jets win?
Jets won. Yes, we're 7-0. Yeah, we are the only undefeated team in the NHL. And speaking of continued conversation of sports, hey, there's the new Dome Arena in California for the Clippers. You guys see that? Do you guys see the wall at the one end of the arena? The steepest pitch in basketball arena, and it's that one wall of fans. You got to check it out. I got to find some video or pictures for you, but I saw it last night. It's just a straight pitch, 144 steps up, and you see this image. And when you're shooting, when you're the opposing team up against the basketball net over there, there's just this vertical wall of fans in your face, and not any fan can sit there. You have to apply. You have to be a Clippers fan, and you have to have attitude. You have to have a story.
Yeah, you got to be ready to fucking raise hell to get over there.
I like that.
Pretty fucking. There's an app for it. It's called The Wall. Like it's fucking cool, man. But there's an example of the future of sports, right? Creating an experience. I invite you to check out the article in The Athletic. It talks about that. But anyways, let's go with the In the Gym segment, Jimmy. We're rocking and rolling. We're going to keep the show rolling in the gym with John and Marty. And today's Friday. So you guys tuning in right now, you got questions? Joseph, Shinku, Deuce, McQuillan, Cosmic. Good morning, Cosmic. Good to see you here. Anybody got questions? We're going to do an AMA with John and Marty today. I got a few here to throw on the table, but I'm going to start with the first one for John and Marty. John, we always talk about push and pull. No, I'm going to rephrase that. There's this ideology in lifting about push and pull, complement. When you go to the gym, do a push, do a pull, do a push, do a pull, or do one on one day, one on the other day. Talk a little bit about the idea of push and pull days. Do you do them on the same day? Do you do them on offset days? Give Business Athlete Nation more commentary and an ideology around the idea of pushing and pulling when it comes to building your routines.
I'll jump in there first, Marty, if you're cool with that.
Hey, go ahead, man. Do your thing, man.
Push pull. It's like you say push pull, most people are going to understand that. It's like saying fucking keto, or it's like saying paleo or carnivore. It's just basically a method, so to speak, that people can understand, because and some of this stuff is actually very helpful, because people that don't know, then they can, push pull. It makes sense. It's easy. Okay, the chest is a push, the back is a pull. So if you're looking for push pull to give you some amazing edge, it's not going to do that. But now keep in mind, if push-pull is going to motivate you to get in the gym because you know what you're doing, yes, it's going to give you an amazing edge. So understand, it's not some secret. It's just more of a way to understand what you're doing.
And Johnny, if I can off-play that, Marty, before I bring you up there, when I'm thinking push-pull, I'm thinking about pushing weight away, or I'm thinking pulling down and working my back. Is that something I want to do on a same day, or do I want to, or ideally, do I want to offset each other?
Oh, brother, I do it all. Sometimes I'll do push-pull on the same day. Sometimes the whole key is just to fucking never do the same shit.
Yes, Marty.
Yeah, I say, just to make it a little more practical, if I'm gonna have clients, including myself, do a push day and a pull day, is for more advanced. And my beginners, I have them do pull and push on the same day, more like an upper body day, because their body isn't used to that. They haven't developed the muscle endurance. They haven't developed a certain amount of hypertrophy. So I put it together for the beginners, and the advanced people, I'll have a push day and pull day. But honestly, it doesn't matter. Just freaking show up. That's what matters. You got to show up. No, but seriously, just show up, be consistent, whatever you decide to do. It really doesn't matter.
John, 100%. And that's why we're not talking about diets, but that's why if following paleo or following carnivore, following keto works for you, because you understand it. But if you don't do it, it doesn't fucking matter. It's the same thing with this. It's basically a kind of a form of understanding what to do. And if you have a plan and you fucking follow it, you're going to get results. But don't think it's just like Marty said, man, just fucking show up. Stop making things more complicated than they need to be. I'm not talking to you, Keith. I'm saying to everybody that's looking for that fucking secret.
Yeah. Just pull my questions here. So let's talk to the weekend warrior. He's thinking about getting started, and we're going, get started tomorrow. Get started today. He's selected his gym, or he's selecting staying at home, and he's looking to do his first workout. Workout number one, the weekend warrior. It's Friday today in the loop. Sorry to date the show. Thinking, okay, I heard John and Marty and Chris say something today. I'm going to get going. John, what's the one thing you want this guy to get going to do today?
Whatever the fuck he feels like he's happy or confident to do. If it's the first day, don't say, oh, well, I got to do this. Just fucking do something. It doesn't matter. Just get in there and fucking put some effort in it. And you hear me talk about this all the time. Don't gauge your success on how much you lift or how many reps. Gauge your success on putting in a good effort, because you're going to leave feeling good, which means you're going to want to go back tomorrow. And that's the foundation for this whole fucking thing. So if you don't know what to do, then that's one thing. But what to do, if you understand, do what sounds good. Do what sounds like it's going to be fun. Have fun with your workouts, because guess what? You're going to want to continue.
Oh, man, that's such Marty. I want to lean into that in a second. But Marty,
I'd say just realize that small wins are the big win. All right. So you have to, John, you like that one. All right. You have to set some type of a schedule, right? You might not have your foundation. You might not know what your workouts are going to look like yet, but give yourself a goal. All right, I'm going to get in here 3 days this week for my first week of start my fitness journey. It don't matter what days, it don't matter what time, but I'm going to get to the gym 3 days. And you fucking start there. Then we can worry about the other shit. But you got to start simple first. Maybe
you're only doing 3 days with 30 minutes.
And it could be 30 minutes. Shit, it could be 20 minutes. It could be 20 minutes. Yeah. But just get in there 3 times. And then this is that habit of doing something, of telling yourself you're going to do something and getting it done. That's going to lead to the fucking long-term weight loss, long-term muscle building. That's where it starts. So I would say make that small win first.
Honor the word to yourself. When you honor the word to yourself, this shit gets really fucking easy, because you don't sit there and right now you say, oh, I'm going to go to the gym, and you don't do it. It's real fucking easy to keep doing that dumb shit. But when you say, okay, you know what? Like Marty said, the little win, I'm going to fucking go for 5 minutes. Go for 5 minutes, because it's not about the 5 minutes. It's about the fact that you did what you said you were going to do. You honored the word to yourself, and the whole thing hinges on that fact.
Absolutely.
I'm putting down a question here, because I want to, not going to rant, but I want to lean into what you guys are saying, because I got to be honest. When I first was starting to put together the In the Gym segment, or us collaborating on these things together, I had I don't want to say I had a different mindset for it, but what I've enjoyed learning from both you guys, and what I love that we continue to beat the drum on every single day, is how simple this is.
Yes.
Hold on, Johnny. Like, we got a world-class bodybuilder, world-class strongman, world-class athlete here, a business guy over here behind the microphone that's done a couple of things. But all we're talking about is getting up and just getting to a place and doing something, and then doing it again and doing it again. Don't worry about whether you're doing the proper deltoid exercise to hit the front delt, back delt, side delt, rear delt, interior delt, fucking 8-pack, 12-pack, 6-pack. I love what Johnny keeps hammering home. And you said a few things, Johnny. Go have fun. Marty's like, just go there for 20 minutes. Right? So what they're saying, guys, is that they're not saying that I'm going to teach you how to build like the 6-pack in 3 days. No, they're saying, listen, you want to go walk with your kids when you're 85 years old? Go to the gym right now and have some fun. If you keep doing that over and 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 over, you're probably going to be able to go for a walk with your kids when you're 85. That's what I love about this segment. What's coming to life with it is that it's not about a new system. It's not about a new fucking protein plan. It's just about
no fucking secrets. There's no secrets here.
And I know it sounds so repetitive and cliche, but again, I know because I get the comments from people. We just got to keep saying enough times for somebody to go, I fucking got it. I got to go. Right? Like, that's just really what it is. And it's Johnny.
Here's a good one for all those people that are, I got the science. What's happening? Let me sum this shit up. The science is compliance. You got to fucking do it. It's that simple.
Yes. But yes. However, if you
don't do it, nothing fucking works.
Yes. However, it's still responsible. It's still important of us to learn. Because here's what I do love about the industry, about the fitness industry, and what we talk about here is that it's so studied. There's so much knowledge, and what we learned 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And I know, Johnny and Marty, what we don't want to do here is perpetuate bro science. What we want to perpetuate is truth. But to Johnny and Marty's point, we're going to put the truth on the table, but the truth only works if you show up and do it daily.
Yeah.
So there's that consistency in place, right? All right. So last question for you guys about
real quick. Let me just talk one last thing is
with
this whole thing of making it simple and show up. Everything you're saying is perfect. Just remember, everyone, don't get lost in the details. At this phase, that doesn't matter. Just get there. Just do what we're saying. Get there and have a little fun. You don't need to get lost in details that are not going to help you at this point in your journey.
Well, I think the key, though, is, so Johnny, I'll challenge you there. The key, though, is that there's somebody who's looking to get started, shouldn't get lost in the details. But somebody who, like myself, who needs the details to move him from mediocrity to excellence, right? And I know somebody like yourself who's all about the details to beat the guy that's just around the corner over there. So I do agree with you. To somebody who's rolling over right now, don't get caught up in, I got to go eat all my fucking protein today and I got to go eat my eggs today. No, just go get up, get moving, and go have a good, clean, healthy meal. And then tomorrow go do it again, and then go do it again. And
once you're having some fun, you're showing up, then you start getting into details. The details matter once you're showing up. If you're not showing up, the details don't fucking matter.
Yep, exactly. All right, guys, in the gym segment every Friday here, Monday to Friday here, and we like to do an AMA segment with the boys here, which is throwing questions on the table to ask them things that, as Christine always says, you're not going to get this knowledge anywhere on the planet. These two guys with their experience, one time, 13 minutes every single day in the gym with John and Marty. Okay, so guys, it is the time at the end of the week here. We're going to bring Flynn on the stage here. We're going to work towards wrapping up the show with the community corner. And before you guys head out, let's reflect on today's show or this week in the lab. Start with you, Marty. What did you take out of today's show, brother?
Janine was a beast, man. And it was cool to have another athlete on here. She gets that mindset with me and Johnny. Not that anybody else does it, but me, Johnny, and Tina, she really relates to us being athletes. So that was great to talk about the dark side and all of that stuff. So we definitely got to have her back.
Yeah. I can't disagree with you there. Johnny, what'd you take from today's show, brother?
It's actually I want to talk about the week because we have great shows across the board.
Yes.
You know? But the thing that I really liked about this week was we got a really good look at the contrast. And granted, not that there was a problem, but we got to look at how everything runs when Christina's here, and then the day where she wasn't, and the day where she was, and you can see the difference. And so I love how the team is we can cover for each other without a problem. But you can't replace all of us being here. I think that's a symbol of us really growing.
I love it. And people tuning in regularly, you're seeing it happen in front of your eyes, real life. Coach, what'd you take from today or what'd you take from this week?
Just such a really good week. Yeah, I got to double down on Janine. She's a beast. It's why I wanted to bring her on. Like, she inspires and motivates me. And I know that she appeals to a lot of people. It's that dark voice. Like, Marty, we could have a whole show about that. And even the balance of like, how do you turn that voice off too? Because that became my inner monologue. And like, what is that like? How do you not get into that position? So I think that's a fun one for us to dig into.
We can pretty much guarantee she's going to come back. We all agree, and she's already agreed too. So it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, we've had and we had Carl Grant yesterday, who's also agreed to come back to talk about. Actually, he messaged me yesterday. He said, "I'd love to come back and talk about cheat days." And perhaps reframing that argument around not rushing towards a cheat day, reframing it. And as I work on the League of Business Athletes program and the League 100, I think this really rolls into it, is reframing this idea of a flex day, or a day where you go and recover and rest and not run towards cheating, run towards reframing what that joy is. So we'll have Carl back here as well. But
can we talk about that for 1 second? Yeah. We had that this week too, where Lauren said in the comments when we were talking about ED and difficulties in the bedroom. And she said, we call it performance.
Yes.
Obviously, there's a lot of fucking pressure around that. This is so much of this stuff is about reframing and reframing the words and the ways that we use them to be able to say things like, it's not about fucking performance in the bedroom. That puts a real expectation on the dude to be able to show up and be 100% all the time. It's not fucking cheating. It's a rest day. It's being able to look at things differently. It's taking a beat. So I love that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and it also, Tina, leans into not one approach for every single human, right?
No
so, as John has said, you got to find what works for you. And then once you find what works for you, you got to put it on to repeat. I loved watching it here this morning. I got off the treadmill, and Lauren came downstairs to get into the gym, and she started flicking through what she was going to pick. And she's like, fuck it, I'm just doing this. It's that now method, Johnny. Just doing it right now. She just did something, right? And it was a habit. Just habits, right? Just what you do. All right, guys. John, Marty, great week, great day today. I know you guys got to rock and roll. Hey, Johnny, are you still in Mexico next week, or are you back in California next week?
It's going to be a split week, so you're going to see me in both places.
All right. Marty, catch up later, brother.
Sounds good.
You have yourself a great day. John, Marty, we're going to keep Tina on the stage here, and we're going to keep rolling into our community corner, into the creator spotlight. Good morning, Nation. Good morning, Deuce. Good morning, Joseph. We'll see you guys. Bye, John.
See you Monday.
Bye, friends.
Bye, Marty.
Bye, John.
Everyone.
All right, John and Marty, you're out of here. We're going to keep the show going with Keith and Christina. We're wrapping up the last segment of the show here, Community Corner, and then we're going to do business and branding and get out of here for the next 2 days of the loop before we restart it all again on Monday. But Tina, today we're going to celebrate a rapidly rising leader, Jimmy Little. And Felix, there's your cut as you're post-producing the show later. This creator advanced from a crew member to a senior vice president in the landscaping industry within just 9 years. Christina, the landscaping industry is fascinating to me. That's a good example of, in my opinion, there's a lot of mediocre landscapers. And what I mean by that is they just get up to the job, they do the work, and they make good money, a good career.
Yeah.
Those that decide to not be mediocre, and we're talking about, I don't want to be disrespectful to the industry, but we're not talking about building a big tech AI company, right? We're talking landscaping. Those that really become intentional about growing their landscaping company, man, like I had a guy on my show, Christina, who took $20 on a lawnmower and turned it into a $20 million business and had an exit with it and then did it again.
But you're saying, like, I don't want to shit on the industry, and you're not, because we could do this with every single industry, right? Like, look at things and they seem simple.
Yeah.
It's probably not. It's like when you watch somebody do fucking a floor routine in gymnastics.
Yes.
You're like, how hard could that be? Watch a professional chef cook a meal. How hard could that be? But it's the difference between what is the industry standard, and that's what people have come to know and expect. And if you can come in with something very different, and you can come in with just that next level up, and that next level up,
yes,
delta between you and all the others is the $20 million business.
Yes. That's why, again, I like the landscaping business, because it's cutting grass, it's digging ditches, it's making things look nice. And one could argue that many can do that, but not many can do it extremely well and exceptionally very well. So that I love it. So as I looked into our creator today, I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. So this creator's been sharing powerful insights, and we got Cosmic Vision. I'll come back to you, Cosmic. We got this creator is sharing powerful insights on intentional career growth, sharing along the way. I love this too. This creator is a champion for stay-at-home moms. Yes, with deep empathy and understanding, this creator actually supports stay-at-home moms, advocating for their value and contributions. A mentor focused on leadership and growth, he builds better workplaces by recommending thoughtful policies, training future leaders, and fostering intentional development at every level. Today's creator spotlight, who we are going to celebrate for Mornings in the Lab, oops, I pulled it too quickly, is Jacob. Jacob Long, dad, leadership landscaping champion for stay-at-home moms, Woodlawns Landscape Company out of Greater Chicago. Cosmic's coming in with that's awesome. I agree, Cosmic. Let's dig into Christina Flynn, why we are celebrating Jacob Hong today.
I think what really stood out to me, Jacob, is this idea that he's taking something that you could look at as like average, but as we know, it's not. And the people that do that, really, there's so much skill and there's so much intention behind that. And he's sharing his journey. He's saying, we have people on the show sometimes that have done like these unbelievable, crazy feats. Jacob's a regular dude who's like, you know what? I'm going to take my experience. I'm going to take the fact that I grind and that I hustle. I went from a crew member on this landscaping thing to the SVP in 9 years. And I'm going to tell you how I did it. And he's going to teach people how he's done it and what are the things that got him to where he is now, which I think is really beautiful. Of course, the fact that he is championing something with a unique approach. Not a lot of people, and especially not a lot of men out there, are having advocacy for stay-at-home moms, and he's bringing visibility to that. And I think he just represents a lot of folks in our audience that are doing something that they're really passionate about. They don't necessarily, and they may not necessarily see a path to that greater life that we always talk about, fulfilling your full potential. And he's showing them how you can do that in any environment.
I love about this too, Christina, is that John talks about this often, enough, where he's willing to do the shit that others won't do.
Exactly.
It's clear to me that Jacob is as well, because when Jacob puts on his LinkedIn profile that I'm a champion for stay-at-home moms, I don't know many men out on the platform that have that in their profile. So that alone is saying I'm doing something most of you aren't going to do. I got nothing but props and respect for that.
Yeah, absolutely. He's doing great things. I think he's somebody to watch, and I have a lot of fun following him.
Awesome. Jacob Hong, we're celebrating you here today. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. We take somebody on the LinkedIn platform, we celebrate them, we call them out because you're doing some great things. We like what you stand for, and we want to invite you to the show to talk a little bit about Woodlawns Landscape Company and a little bit about you, and maybe you have somebody in your orbit, Jacob, you want to celebrate on the Creator Spotlight. And as Cosmic said, that is awesome. And Cosmic comment here, Christina, is I really think that those Michelin stars restaurants are overrated. Some of that food is just gross. That's funny, Cosmic.
Perhaps. I don't even think I've ever eaten at a Michelin star restaurant, so I can't comment on that.
Yeah. What's I don't know. Just go get some good food. All right. Let's work towards wrapping up the segment of this, wrapping up the show here, Tina. Let's get into the business and branding segment. I know you're going to interview me and share a personal story about how intentional morning routines changed my life. I dug into a little bit about it at the start of the show, but I'm eager to continue with it with you, because mornings really are and have been they're the foundation. And as I keep building this show and this platform, and even Janine, man, just reminded me and reminded all of us, mornings are the differentiator. Unless you're in the nightclub or restaurant or night business industry, I'm sorry. You got to fucking win the mornings. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. And it's hard to argue when you see folks like what we have on our show, our guests, our hosts doing that and seeing the benefits. And I think your story is a powerful one. And you talked about it and you alluded to it a little bit at the beginning of the show, but you went from 230 to now 170-ish.
Yeah.
And you attribute mornings for being a big part of that. A lot of folks, like, it's easy to come in here and look at what we do and look at like where the John Andersons are, where the C. Marty Fitts are, where the Keiths are now, and compare ourselves to that. But I want people to get an inside look at the dude that was 230 pounds and not really fucking happy with his life, and how mornings became something that allowed you to overcome that. And I know it's still a grind every day, but talk to us a little bit about that.
I was 38. I was husky, fat, right? Eating crappy food constantly, chasing, as I said at the beginning of the show, burning the candle at literally both ends, working with my team overseas and then working on the business first thing in the morning. We had a 24-hour-a-day company. Knowing that I had to be around for it was just part of what I did, but it was killing me. So and literally and figuratively, and I didn't like how it was making me feel. But I'll relate it to, like I said, 38 years old. I'll relate it to just real life. It felt shitty planning to go on a trip to New York City or to London or to Vegas or Dubai and going into the closet and putting the clothes on and going, okay, they don't fit. And then going through the of, okay, I got to go into a deficit and go and lose some weight so I can get the clothes to fit. And then look at pictures of myself and I can see the So it was really, the light went on for me. Christina was like, I got to make a change. And the change had to end at night. I had to, because when I'm tired, I eat shitty. When I'm tired, my cortisol levels are up. I made bad decisions. When I'm tired, I sleep in the morning. When I'm tired, I chase the day.
Was that it, that you were tired? Like, what made you think that? Oftentimes we think that's our only option, especially as entrepreneurs that are grinding. We think that's the expectation. There's been a lot of hustle culture around us for a very long time. What was it for you that made you think this is the only way to do this, is to go 24 hours a day, to be nonstop, to be available for people at all times?
So when I was building ICUC, it was a 24-hour-day company. I didn't have a choice. Right. So it wasn't always on. And that's how, so in the early days of the internet, that's how we won. That's how we built the business, because we were a 24/7 company. But I'll be even more vulnerable, Christina, as I was going on my path to being fat guy. It was aesthetics that turned the light on for me. Started making some money.
What do you mean?
Started making some money, started able to go to some nice clothing stores, was able to go to the Tom Ford store and the Louis Vuitton store and all these nice stores. And you're like, oh, I want to buy nice clothes, but I'm fat. It just didn't really work for me. Truthfully and admittedly, it was aesthetics. And okay, if I can go make lots of money, I can go buy nice clothes, but I'm not going to put on nice clothes being husky and fat and not looking good at myself in the mirror. So it had nothing to do with mental. It had nothing to do with longevity. It had nothing to do with living to go walk with my kids. Oh no, I learned all that going through my divorce and into my 40s and figuring life out there. No, back then it was like, oh no, fuck, I want to look pretty good, man. I want to look hot. I want to put a nice suit on. I want to put some jeans on. I want to go and be the man because I'm running this tech company. I got to go to a conference and get on stage. So it was,
but it worked.
All aesthetics.
So those aesthetics worked, and that motivation worked in that moment. And you just admitted the fact that. Have you learned other things since then? I think so often we talk about this. You have to find what works for you. And if you are trying to find whatever it is that lights you up, if you find something that lights you up, even if externally people would say that's not the right thing to light you up, it still worked for you. So talk to that. Does it have to be like this? It have to be about sustainability, or have to be about longevity, or have to be about your kids, or have to be about legacy? Can it be in that moment about what's right in front of you and whatever is working to light you up inside?
Absolutely. It's just like we said a few minutes ago, just get up and go for a walk right now. Just do something that's going to make you feel good about yourself. I know it's so cliche, but again, this show's about getting people moving. I needed to, that's why I've had my mental issues. And I joke about Johnny, right? Johnny and I are the same age. I grew up as a fat kid on the beach who had the sand kicked in him and wanted to be the bodybuilder. I joke about it all the time. It's my story, right? So the aesthetics and making cash have been a big part of my desire to live a lifestyle aesthetically pleasing. It hasn't been until I went through divorce and grew up a little more in my head and learned more about values and learned about creating the business athlete mindset that no, it's actually about going for a walk with my kids when I'm 80 and 90 and it all fits. It all fits together. I'm more than likely going to be less body weight. I'm more than likely going to be leaner. I'm more than likely going to carry less visceral fat if I make all these good decisions. So the aesthetics are going to be the net result of my longevity goals instead of the other way around. But I had to find something that worked for me.
I'm going to question you because you said then you started to think about longevity, when you went through your divorce, when my argument, because I've heard you say it before, it wasn't then. It was when you got what you wanted. It was when you got more fit. It was when you got the money and you realized, shit, this has been driving me all this time, but it's actually not really what I want. Am I right in saying that?
Probably, because I was lost when I made all the cash and got up on Monday, still fat. I was like, oh, okay, now what? So I had cash. I woke up on Monday, looked in the mirror, and still felt lost about myself. So it was, again, I talk about finding AJ at Focus and building that business athlete mindset. And that's why I've been so adamant, Christina, on really not selling a system to somebody. Because I don't know, man, to me, it's not the system. It's just about finding something that works for Christina Flynn and then doing it repeatedly over and 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 over.
Yeah.
That is the hard thing. That's
the hard one. It's easy to buy the systems. And I've talked about this a lot. There was a moment in time about a year ago where I realized, oh my God, like I have a shopping addiction, and it's not for clothes. It's for educational materials like digital products and courses and cohorts, like all of these things external to me. I was buying them so that I could figure it out. Everything was like one answer. And what I realized was like, okay, this is about me. I need to sort me out, and I need to take all the information in that I possibly can. But I also realized I didn't necessarily have the network that I needed. I didn't necessarily have the supports that I needed. It wasn't going to be a fucking PDF that was going to change my life, but I thought it was.
Yes.
It was so much more than that. And it's so easy. We talk about this too. There's going to be a lot of people that sell you like the system. We've talked about this with League of Business Athletes. It's not the system. It is a mentality. It is a mindset. It is a system of support that will help you to define whatever your system is, whatever's going to work for you.
Yes. And you quickly realize that there's an economy in systems, like you just said, right? It's harder to show up every single day and live a life of values. It's easier just to sell a system to somebody. And for me, as I wrap the segment up, Christina, leaning back into mornings, it just, for me, I recognize that I was not going to be able to win the day, compete, those metaphors that are important to me, if I continued to wreck my nights to wreck my mornings. And it all links together, right? Those bad decisions that begin in the morning actually begin in the night before, right? It took me many years to finally then give up drinking. And again, I got no judgment for those that like to have a glass of alcohol and have drinks. No judgment whatsoever. For me, though, having drinks led to bad decisions, which led to the next day, which led to not a good morning. And it's just you find spots, you pick your battles. Tina.
I was talking to Rich Ingram about this yesterday, and him and I were talking, and he's like, I don't know, like I've been doing these talks and there's something that's missing. So we're like digging, what is it that's missing? He's like, it needs to be the physical and it needs to be the mental. And I was like, why? What drives you? Like, why do you do what you do? And he's like, because I know if I don't do those things, it's going to take me down the wrong path. Like, I know myself. I have self-awareness. So I know what the person without those things looks like. And I know how they feel. And I know what they're unhappy about. And I know what they're bitching about. I needed, once I started to realize like I needed to move towards this person, that's what I need to motivate myself by. I need to motivate myself because I know I'm not capable otherwise. I needed to reframe and I needed to rewire my brain. Before we go, what are your thoughts on that? Because I think, like I said earlier, so often we think it needs to be this like beautiful, glorious motivation. But what if the motivation is just like, I know myself. And if I leave myself to my own devices, and I'm saying this to me right now, because this is me, I can't trust it. I can't trust me.
As Johnny would say, that's gold, man. Like I just want to lean in here and jump all over that. Cause I agree with you there. Right. And it's, again, somebody listening to the show, either live or on demand later, maybe they're waiting for the light to go on. Because it took me a long time for the light to go on, but when the light went on, it made me realize that I don't want to go back in the other direction. And again, as we keep building this plane out, I'm just so bullish that you have to start your day in the gym. And it's got to start 4, 5, 6 a.m. It's non-negotiable. It's just, it's not. If you can't get there, and that's what I love about Janine, is that you're just going to be basic, right? So if you
we should stipulate too, in the gym for people is sorting your shit out, right? Like John says, like in the gym for him in the morning is being intentional, and he's got to get up here, right? Before he can get into physical. You're saying you are all about the physical in the morning, and that's how you chase that feeling. So it's different for everyone. It's not to be prescriptive. It's just to say what is going to get you moving. What is going to make you feel and have the confidence that you're doing all the right things to get to the next place that you want to go, to be on the path that you want to be on.
Yes. Yet we know as humans that movement and physical fitness is the foundation of that. Mm-hmm. So in the gym is the 3 pieces: emotional, mental, and physical.
Yeah.
That, because if you got those 3 things done and nothing else happened for the rest of the day, you've taken care of yourself. And that to me is what a business athlete is. And if you do that over and over, you're not going to be basic. Mm-hmm. You're just not, because you don't have a choice but not to not be basic, because eventually all those people who are being basic they're not going to live up to the routine. But if you just do those 3 things every single day before the person next to you, mm-hmm. you're going to fucking fly, man. I found it. I met AJ to help me find it. I've met John Anderson, Christopher Martin. I've met you. Like that's the path. And I'm very bullish on that. Richie Ingram is not doing what he's doing if he's not getting his shit
running 100-milers.
Yeah. Right.
And he's a dude that's, listen, I love Copenhagen and I love drinking, but I know when I do those things, it's not good. The person I become is not the person I want to be. So I don't fucking do it.
That's it. So nation, here's the takeaway from today's show. The morning routine we talk about, it's not just about checking boxes. It's really about setting the tone for how you show up every day and then every week. And it's about creating a cumulative good choices that start in the morning. And if you can have that starting in the morning, actually having it starting in the evening before, you're going to create a space to bring their best self out to whatever challenge or opportunity comes your way. Listen, when we as our day gets in front of us, nation, fuck, challenges show up every single minute, every single hour. If you got your shit sorted out, you're going to attack the challenges much easier. And I know some of the stuff we talk about sometimes sounds cliche, but it is.
A lot of it does.
It is.
Kind of is.
But that's what life is, though. Mm-hmm. Boring. Right? So
it can be boring. But I think it's the way that you look at, and you know me, I agree with boring. Of course, that's the fear. That's the fear. But I think where I'm trying to understand or learn myself is that it's actually not that boring, because the boring becomes routine, and the routine becomes something that you don't have to think about. And then the things you're able to focus on with that renewed energy, with that renewed confidence, are things that are never boring.
That's it. And listen, no month's around the corner, Business Athlete Nation. In a few days from now, next week comes November, a month of no's. So maybe embrace saying no to FOMO and saying yes to boring in a good way. Right? Now is the time to cut the habits that are holding you back. I'm really inviting you to think about, as you go into the weekend, into November, is there something that's holding you back? Consider putting it aside. And consider how that decision will perhaps invite you to make a different decision. Maybe you're doing something in the evenings like John and Marty talk about, which is holding you back from getting up that hour in the morning earlier to start your day. And trust me, as you get old, like this old guy over here, you'll love the mornings. Man, before the world gets up, you attack the day and magic.
You grab your cane and you get out of bed.
That's it. And then you go and jump up and down the rebounder. Yes.
Joseph, I did that yesterday. Sans rebounder, but I did that yesterday. And I was like, actually, this is fun. And you want to know, though? My fucking calves hurt today.
Yes.
My calves hurt today. I was like, why? And I was like, oh, yes. I was fucking jumping around my living room for 5 minutes.
That's how we're ending the show, nation. Flynn's calves are hurting. Yeah.
My calves are burning. My dogs are barking, friends.
We're not talking about the calves.
Nobody thought that. Nobody. You live in Winnipeg. You think of cows and shit. Nobody thought that.
Oh, Joseph Hernandez, consistency isn't boring. You are right, Joseph. No, consistency is winning. And 10,000 No's by Matthew Del Negro saved my life. Thanks for sharing that, Joseph. Hey, Joseph, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I invite you to do so. And Joseph, have yourself a good couple days of the loop, and we'll see you Monday. Flinner, we'll talk to you later. Nation, Jimmy, thanks for pressing the buttons. And Felix, the show's over.
Welcome, Felix.
And to all my friends in the Philippines, you guys take care of yourselves over there.
Take care,
healthy.
please.
Well, all right. We'll see you guys later. Ciao.
See y'all.